Inside my brain are tiny little connections, just waiting to happen. Every time someone reads to me, talks to me, holds me, sings to me, my brain makes a connection, which helps me learn. The first 3 years are the most important years of my life, and the future is filled with possibilities.
Love your child. It makes a difference.
Welcome to the Child Care Collection Series. I'm Judy O'Bannon, and I would like to thank you for your interest and participation in this program. New information regarding brain development emphasizes the importance of what a child sees and hears and touches. This is especially true during the first 3 years of life. Placed in a stable and stimulating environment, a child's brain flourishes. We clearly understand how critical high-quality child care is both in and out of the home. Through programs like this series, the Indiana Family and Social Services Administration is dedicated to meeting the needs of quality care for children and their families. Indiana citizens value the role of the family and the importance of the parent as the child's first teacher. Together we can provide our children with a bright beginning. Love your child. It makes a difference.
Two-year-old Becca's older brother has just decided that her Play-Doh lid would make a great noise when attached to his bike wheels. When Becca sees the missing lid, she begins to scream hysterically. The canister missing its top is not the way it's meant to be. She doesn't calm down until the lid is returned to its proper place. This can be a common scene for parents and caregivers of toddlers, children between the ages of 1 and 3. Whereas infants experience the world by moving about and using all of their senses, older toddlers begin to develop a rich internal world of complex mental images. Toddler reactions, which may include a wide range of emotions, have led to the rather unfortunate label of the terrible twos. Understanding the toddler's brain development, capabilities, and unique qualities is a vital prerequisite to providing the sensitive, responsive care needed to promote healthy growth and development that last a lifetime. Recent research has shown the enormous capacity for brain development in a child from birth to 3 years of age. Early experiences not only help shape the child's emotional and social behaviors, but actually change the wiring of the brain. This is a crucial time for the child to acquire the skills and knowledge needed for a successful life. In fact, scientists have found that it is healthy social and emotional development in the first few years that has the greatest influence on brain growth. Even in utero, the brain is learning to receive and process information. While the brain cells, or neurons, are basically in place at birth, the connections between the cells, or synapses, increase dramatically through age 3. The experiences the toddler has greatly influences the process of creating and discarding brain connections. The first 3 years are an incredible time of learning for a child. Toddlers' brains by age 3 are 2.5 times as active as they will be at adulthood. This is a critical period for learning in a child's life. The connections made will influence the child's thinking now and through adulthood. Although the rate of growth is slower in toddlers than in infants, there are many developmental milestones. The word toddler is derived from the unsteady gait of the baby who is learning to walk at approximately 12 months of age. No longer an infant, the young toddler is able to build towers of blocks and scribble on paper. He delights in playing games such as peekaboo and So Big. Motor abilities steadily increase as the child moves through the 2 years of toddlerhood. She can walk upstairs with help at about 16 months, jump in place around 23 months, and walk on tiptoe by age 2. Parents are relieved as young toddlers move in the direction of adult-like sleep-wake cycles. The average toddler, however, still needs much more sleep than an adult, averaging 12 to 13 hours in a 24-hour period. While psychologist Erik Erikson described the basic challenge of infancy as one of establishing a sense of basic trust, a feeling of safety and security about the world, the basic challenge of being a toddler is to establish feelings of autonomy, power, and competence. Autonomy is the sense of being an independent person and separate from parents or caregivers. Children need to learn that they have the power and competence to impact the world around them. To do so, they need a chance to make choices, the freedom to move about, and the opportunity to try new things and be successful. Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development reminds us that toddlers think very differently than adults and even older children. Their thinking and reasoning, which may seem strange to adults, is perfectly valid and should be respected. Sometime around age 2, toddlers leave what Piaget called the sensoromotor period, a time when children interact with objects and people in the world with all of their senses. They next enter the preoperational period, where children begin to solve problems and think about things mentally or internally, instead of acting on them in some physical way. This also allows them to defer imitation and to engage in make-believe play. The newly reasoning toddler, however, makes what seems to be very large leaps in logic. They don't reason by moving from general to specific or specific to general as adults do. Engaging in wishful or magical thinking. The child might want something to be true, therefore thinking it is true. Reason by association, thinking that one action has a relationship to another. For example, Daddy may be washing the dishes. Therefore, it must be time for a story, because a story always follows doing the dishes. Connecting two non-associated events together as a cause for a third. An example of this would be a child feeling wind blowing on his face, then seeing trees moving, and therefore thinking the trees are making the wind blow. These ways of thinking may seem strange to us, but are quite reasonable to the developing toddler. Piaget also described the toddler as egocentric. They believe that they are the center of the universe and are unable to take the perspective of others. This is not a case of being unwilling to see things from another's point of view. They have not yet developed the mental capacity to do so. This makes group care of toddlers very challenging. Though not impossible, it is very difficult for toddlers to engage in cooperative behaviors, show empathy, and to share. Toddlers are no longer infants, nor are they yet preschoolers. If we think of toddlers as older babies, we may not offer them enough challenges. However, if they are seen as immature preschoolers, we may end up frustrating toddlers by providing challenges at which they are unable to succeed. In addition to the physical and cognitive development the toddler is undergoing, this is also a crucial period for emotional and social development. We can expect toddlers to be energetic. Toddlers are extremely curious and may enthusiastically explore their world. Occasionally seem out of control. It's a difficult time of choices and challenges. Toddlers may burst into tantrums or plunge into despair, simply from being overwhelmed by their world. Be on a different clock. Toddlers don't have the highly developed sense of time that adults share, so are often seen as dawdling. So much is new to the toddler that they often must slow down to take it all in. Be contrary. While learning that they have some control, toddlers may refuse requests with a declaration of no. They are learning to be assertive, which is a vital step in learning self-control. Be moody. Toddlers may shift moods from joy to rage and back while trying to deal with all the changes they are going through emotionally. Be afraid. There are many aspects encountered in a toddler's world that may be frightening. Be powerful. Toddlers begin to see that they can cause things to happen or not happen. While it's necessary to learn to use this power, it is difficult at first to know just what is appropriate. Be sensitive to separation. In the mornings, at sleep times, and at the end of the day, toddlers in childcare may experience pain of separating from their parents and may have trouble reuniting. Be disturbed by transitions. Toddlers need time to adapt to change. As toddlers begin to assert their autonomy, they may be labeled aggressive by adults who do not understand toddlers' behavior. While they may seem unpleasant or even hurtful, toddlers merely have characteristics that are misunderstood. These characteristics include lack of understanding based on their egocentrism. Toddlers are often unable to understand that their actions may hurt someone else. Good intentions, bad results. A toddler who wants to be helpful may, simply through lack of motor skills, make matters worse. These situations should be approached with acknowledgement of the good that the child wants to do, while making suggestions or giving assistance so the toddler can accomplish his or her goal. Lack of impulse control. While toddlers may know what they should or should not do, they often lack self-control or willpower. Although an exciting period of rapid learning, toddlerhood is indeed a difficult time of development for children. Adults and caregivers must use insight to understand and respond patiently and supportively to toddlers. With such a wide world before them, toddlers are comforted when things are as they should be. This is why any deviation from what is expected or normal, from losing a favorite toy to a tree branch falling down in the front yard, may cause considerable distress. Quite funny to adults, toddlers' feelings are understandable. Toddlers often become disoriented when their patterns or routines are changed. They should be comforted rather than disciplined if they act uncooperatively or fly into a tantrum. For child care centers, this may mean that if a substitute teacher is needed, if possible, this stranger should get to know the toddlers before the day she substitutes. Explaining the situation in simple, understandable words to the child, including naming all the things that will still be the same at the child care center, will help the toddler through this transition. The parents also need advanced preparation for such substitutes. Remember, the child's level of comfort is directly proportional to the parents. Toddlers also need help to understand the differences between what is real and what is not. Objects which to adults may seem harmless may be extremely frightening for toddlers. Toddlers may conjure up monsters out of thin air, and imagine even a bathtub drain may suck a child away. But it is helpful to remember that this is a sign of intellectual growth, for it shows that imagination is developing. Adults need to understand toddlers at this incredibly inventive and exciting stage of life. Toddlers should be encouraged to learn flexibility and to use humor as a way to relieve stress and understand the world. Children do need to learn self-discipline, but must do so through their own experience and safe consequences, not through being overly controlled. Toddlers may test the very limits of caregivers, but it is only through testing their own perceptions of the world that they will develop the physical, mental, social, and emotional skills they need as adults. As previously noted, this period of ages 1 to 3 is critical in the development of the child's brain. To ensure that toddlers develop properly, certain standards of health care and safety need to be addressed by parents and caregivers. Protecting children from diseases may be accomplished